y'all. How y'all doing? Happy New Year. We made it into 2022, y'all. We made it into 2022. So let me just start by telling you guys Happy New Year. Hey, so conspicuous. Hey, sister girl. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, y'all. Now, I'm actually live on IG and in the Facebook group right now, right? So this is my first time doing a what do you call it? What? Simulcast. A simulcast, family. So I'm going live on both. So bear with me, okay? But listen, how was y'all? Hey, Ledger Thab, self-made seamstress, how you doing? How was your all's New Year? Did you enjoy your New Year? Anything exciting? I know for me, I didn't do anything exciting at all, family. I stayed home. I watched the ball drop, drank a glass of wine, and went to sleep. Yeah, that was about it. And I was just happy to be in 2022, so that was exciting for me. What about you guys? You guys did anything exciting this year? Going into the new year? It was good. Good. Exactly. That's all that matters. It was good. That's all that matters, y'all. All right. So today I am going to be doing, I'm going to take in a pair of pants I'm going to take in a pair of pants. I'm going to take in the waist on a pair of men's slacks. Peaceful night. Oh, even better. That's even better. That's exactly how I like it. Nice and peaceful. So on today's live, what I'm gonna be doing, what I'm gonna share with y'all is I'm gonna be taking in the waist on a pair of pants. So I'm gonna show you how I do that and what I do when I take in the waist, and I'm gonna do it basically from beginning to end on the actual steps that I do to take in the waist on a pair of on a pair of men's slacks. Um, Now, again, first of all, let me just say hey to my replayers. So if you're watching on the replay, hey on the replay, make sure you say what's up. And to my Facebook family, hey y'all over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys basically step by step what I do to take in the waist on a pair of men's slacks, and hopefully you get some great knowledge out of it. You see how I do it, and we just kind of go from there. Now, typically, when I get a pair of pants that I have to take in the waist, especially when I'm dealing with menswear, or really no menswear on slacks, it's a lot easier to do than it is on a pair of jeans. That pair of jeans is a whole nother animal. We'll get into that another time. But tonight I'm going to be doing a pair of men's slacks. So I have my model here that we are going to get started. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Let me know y'all ready. Before I get started, let me know you're ready to get this going. So while you do that, let me go and get my model to come on over. Model. Y'all ready? Okay, cool. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, so let's get started here. Now, first of all, let me just try to figure this out on how we can get the best angle so that you guys can see. All right, family. So when I get a pair of when I have a client and they need to get their pants taken in, what I'm going to show you is basically the steps that I take in order to get this job done. So you're going to lift your shirt up just a little bit. Yes, just right here. Hold it up like this. Okay. So here's our model. So the client will come into me and they would say, my pants are too big in the waist. Can you take these pants in for me? So of course I say sure. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm dealing with the waist, I use these. They're like little clips, and it holds the waist a lot easier. Okay, and it makes it a whole lot easier for me to be able to do that. Can you guys see? First of all, I hope you guys can see. Let me just make sure that everybody can see. So let me know in the comments that you can see and you can see clearly. I don't want to be doing all this and y'all can't even see what I'm doing. You guys can see? Okay, cool. All right, so the first step that I like to do is I'll ask the client to make sure when I'm pinning, I want to make sure that I'm not holding it too tight, and I want to make sure that it's comfortable for the person who's going to be wearing the pants, right? So I'll clip it where I feel like it's comfortable. So right here, the first thing that I would do is I will clip it, and then I'll ask, is that comfortable for you? He says yes. You got to go to both cameras because they can't see.
Yes.
Okay. So he says that it's that at this rate is comfortable for him. So I want you guys to see that it's sitting on his waist a whole lot better than it was, turn this way, sideways, than it was prior. Okay? Turn back this way. Perfect. So if I take this off, you guys can see all the excess that's in here. Right? Turn this side, and you can see how big this is on his waist. Hold on, somebody's trying to call me. Okay, right? And once we pin it, we can see that it sits real nice and flush on his back. All right, and then also what you want to take note as well is there any excess? It's not only just the waist that's going to be taken in. It's not only just the waist. We also have a little bit in the seat that needs to come out. So what I do is I get my chalk, okay, and I'll mark exactly where I'm going to be sewing. Okay, so as you can see here, we have it marked right into this spot. Turn this side a little bit. Perfect. Right over here and right down here. So that's going to be my stitching line essentially. Okay, that's exactly where I'm going to be taking it in order to get these pants to fit his waist a lot better. So now what I'm going to have the client do is they'll go into the dressing room. He's going to change and he's going to bring the pants back out to me. And then we're going to actually take the pants in at the waist. All right, so let's give him a second to go change. Get your regular pants. All right, y'all. So now we're gonna do some work. All right, family. So I'm going to angle this so that you guys can actually see on my machine. So I want you to see what I'm actually doing. right. Yes, ma'am. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna flip it this way so that you can actually see on my machine. All right, and then you guys should just let me know if when I change the angle, if it's good. All right, guys. Here we go. All right, family. You can see. Okay. So he's taking off the pants, right? And here's our mark. Okay, so you can see where I drew the line at and where it was comfortable for him at his waist. So the first thing I do is I get my seam gauge and I want to measure how many inches we're going to be taking out the waist. Okay, so this is an inch. All right, so I don't know if you can see, we're going to be taking an inch out. So remember, it's an inch on one side and it's an inch on the other side. So in essence, I'm taking out a total of 2 inches out of his pants. Okay. So now it's safe to take these off because we know our measurement on how much we're going to be taking off. Now, these pants, to do the waist on these particular type of pants, this one is a lot easier. It's what I've noticed and what I've done. What I've noticed in the past is that with men's slacks, it's usually a lot easier to do than women's. For whatever reason, I don't know, but it's usually easier to do it on men. But as you can see here, this is what we're going to be taking out. And if you go to measure, and you can see that it's like I said, so it's a total of 2 inches is what we're going to be taking out of the waist on these pants. All right. So first thing that I like to do, or that I do, is we take the belt loop off. The belt loop has got to go. Okay. So let's take the belt loop. So if you're doing any type of alteration on these type of pants, this I have found is the best and the easiest way to do it. Okay, High Top Stitch Sewing Studio. All right, so first things, we're going to take the belt loop off. Now, some people use the razor. I'm not fond of the razor. To me, I like the good old-fashioned seam ripper. So it's just easier for me to use. It works just great. And I'm a fan of easy. So I do what works best for me. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open the waistband itself. Now, because I'm only taking 2 inches total out of this, what I'm going to do is I like to take it out from belt loop to belt loop. Okay, so I go about, I don't know, maybe an inch in on both sides, and I'll take out the waist from that point. Okay. So we're going to get this belt loop up out of here. All right. So now the waist is open. So now we're going to take the belt loop all the way off. Belt loop gone. Now, don't lose your belt loop. Why am I telling y'all that? Because I've lost a belt loop before, believe it or not. So I've learned from that. So what I do now is I get a safety pin and I pin the belt loop back onto the pants. Okay, so I pin it to the front just like that to make sure I don't lose no belt loops again. All right, family. Now on these particular pants, it has a top stitching right here on the back seam. So I'm gonna open up the top stitching. And you want to check whatever type of pants that you're dealing with, because they're all going to be manufactured differently. So based off of however those pants are manufactured is how you're going to deal with them. But what I like to do when I'm dealing with alterations is I like to make sure that however the pants were before I started altering them, I do my best to make sure that the pants look exactly the same as if they were never touched. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of and open up the top stitching in here. Now the thing is, you want to be really careful whether you're dealing with a razor or a seam ripper to not rip the pants. Please don't rip the garment. That I've never done. I've never done that. And you don't want to do that. Okay? But I'm opening up the top stitching. Now, I'm going to open the top stitching down to about halfway into the pants, because remember, this is where I'm going to have to stitch, because remember, we do have to take a little bit out of the top. So I'm going to open the top. I'm going to open the top stitching probably about halfway in. About halfway in. Okay. And this way, this will give us a nice, when it's time to stitch these pants up, it'll give you a nice smooth stitch line. So make sure that everything comes back together just as it was. Now I've been noticing though, on some of these pants, like the stitching, I don't know what type of stitching they be using when they do it in the manufacturer, but it be so small. I'm like, why y'all gotta use such small stitches? Top stitching be so small, y'all. Okay, family. So I opened up the top stitching, like I said, to about halfway down. So this is the top of the pants, and I opened up the top stitching to about right here. All right. So now I can get a smooth stitch. So what you want to do, next step, is you want to turn the pants inside out. Okay. So we turn the pants inside out. Now, we know that we have to take 1 inch out of these pants, right? So here's what I do. The first thing I do is I take my seam ripper and I mark my 1 inch right here from the top. Where's my chalk? Oh. I mark 1 inch first, and then I know, and then I like to mark at the end where my stitches is gonna stop. Okay. Then I take a ruler and I'm gonna draw my stitching line. Now you want to get your ruler right in to the beginning. Can you guys see? Yeah, you want to get your ruler right into the beginning, or the where your stitches is going to end. Actually, excuse me, where it's going to end, and you want to angle it from where your your 1 inch mark is from the top of the pants, and you want to draw a line. Just like this. Okay, so we know this is our 1 inch that we're taking in at the waist, and then we're grading it back into the original seam at that point right there. Now for me, I like to stitch when I do pants like this from the bottom back up into the waist. All right, so we're gonna do that right now. So you want to get your needle in. Okay. Get your needle right in at the beginning mark. Back stitch. And you're going to stitch on your new stitching line. Okay. And then what I do is I like to check, and I look at it from this side just to make sure that it looks nice and clean. Make sure that I didn't pucker anything, you know, just to kind of take a look, and everything looks great. Okay, and now you see you got excess here. Okay, now at this point, if you're doing this professionally, it's best to have a serger so that you can get that same look. Remember, like I told you, when I do alterations, I always want to make sure that exactly how the client brought the pants in, I do my best to make sure that it looks exactly the same. So these particular pants are serged. So I'm going to serge exactly the same thing. All right, so let's go over to the serger. Got these threads. Let's go over to the serger. Oh, and here's another tip. What I'm going to also, before we go over to the serger, what I like to do as well is I like to reinforce it. So I'm going to put another stitch right like 1/8 of an inch next to my original stitching, which gives it a little more of a solid hole so that when your client is sitting down, or you just don't have any mishaps. And the reason I do that is because the manufacturers, when they sew these, they usually use a chain stitch. A lot of times it's a chain stitch, and when you undo that and you pick it, it just kind of unravels, right? Sound effects, sorry y'all, but but it unravels, right? So I like to just kind of go in there just to give it a little bit of added security. And I'm gonna put another stitch right next to the original stitch that my new stitching line. All right, so let's do that first before we head over to the serger. Okay, so now I got my security stitch in there. So now we got to get rid of this excess fabric. All right, so let's head over to the serger so that we can get rid of this excess fabric. Can you hold the camera for me so I can flip it? Now the light back here is not the best, y'all, so bear with me. All right, let's flip this camera. How do I flip this, y'all? Oh, there we go. Boom. Boom. Okay. So you're going to just hold it right here so they can see. All right, family. So these pants, like I said, are serged. So let's go ahead and serge this excess fabric off. Just that simple, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Let's head back over to the sewing machine. Okay. All right, family. So now, just so you see, when I serged it, I made sure to keep some seam allowance, okay? And I also did that because, remember, these pants are top stitch. But just for me, that's just what I do. I always give myself some room to play. Let's just say the customer's like, oh my gosh, you know what, they're a little too tight. Well, guess what? We still got just a little bit room. We got a little bit more room in there just in case. But we know that's not going to happen. But you always want to better be safe than sorry. Okay? So let's go ahead and flip this back around. I got it. Thank you. All right. Hey, so Pearly. What's up, so Pearly? Okay. So now that we've gotten that taken care of, the next step that I'm going to do with these particular pants is I'm going to go ahead and put the top stitching back on the pant. And I'm going to follow the same top stitching that was in the pants from before. So as we can see, and here's another tip. If the pants that you're going to be taking in the waist has top stitching like this, be careful not to have your seam allowance flipped the wrong way. So always go down and check at the bottom crotch area of the pants to see which way the seam is turned. So you can see this one is turned to my left, right? So because it's turned to my left, I'm going to keep everything in the same exact way. Keep it all turned to the left. So when we top stitch it, it's not going to be wonky. All right, and I'm going to top stitch from the bottom to the top. Okay. So let's go ahead and put in our top stitching. And you're going to just follow where you stopped picking out the top stitching. So I stopped right here at this point. I'm not sure how well you can see, but I stopped right at this point right here. So I'm just going to catch it from that point and put the top stitching right back into the pant, into the seat of the pant. Okay. Oh man, you know what I forgot to do, y'all? I forgot to take before and after pictures. That's okay. The next one we do, I'll get before and after pictures. I was just so psyched and ready to come on here and show y'all. I done forgot to take my little pictures. As you can tell, I'm just ready to teach. You know, what I'm saying? Let's just do it. Let's jump right in. Your girl forgot to take her pictures. All right, y'all. So go ahead and clip your excess thread. I don't have no clipper. I usually have my little clippers with me, but I don't have the little small one. So this just gonna have to do. Work with what you got. This is what I got right now. Okay. So as you can see, I put my top stitching right back into the pant. Okay, and my inside looks nice and clean. All right, keep that in mind. You always want your work to look clean. So I like to always go back in and clip it. You want the inside to look just as pretty as the outside. That's one of my mottos. The inside got to be just as pretty as the outside. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so you want that to be nice and clean, and you can see that your seam is falling nice and flat. All right, inside and outside. Boom. All right, so next thing we want to do is now the actual waistband, because we have all this excess that needs to come out. So what I like to do is I'm going to take off the label. And yes, y'all, I do all of that. Excuse me, I do all of that. So we're going to take the label off. Okay. And when you do your alterations, that's what's going to make you stand out. Okay, and what I'm doing and what I'm teaching you guys or showing you guys how I do this is what makes me stand out. That's what's going to make you stand out. That's what's going to make your alterations look professional. You can't see it. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's back it up a little bit. Okay, is that better? Let me know if that's better. All right, so what I do is I go ahead and I take the label off, but this is what I do to make myself stand out. I take much pride in the work that I do, and I do alterations as if I am doing them myself. I mean, as if it is my own garment and I'm doing it for myself. Like I told y'all from the beginning, the reason I do that is because my name, once I touch these pants, my name is on it. My name is now on these pants. Okay? And whether it's good or bad, when that client gets out in the streets and someone says something about their alterations, guess what? Guess who name they gonna call? Guess who name they gonna call? Tissa. Oh, you know who did those alterations? Tissa. That girl over there at Blue Diamond. Don't go over there, cause she gonna stir shit up, right? No. They're not gonna say that about me. And I make sure that I really do take. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding, y'all, for real. Like I really do take pride in that. All right, let's get back to the clothes. Okay, so I take the tag off. All right, and I take all the tags off. Okay. Boom. All right. So now, remember, we took 2 inches out the waist. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is you want to open it up. Get it nice and open, nice and flat. Okay. The whole thing. You want the whole thing nice and flat. So even this seam that's turned under, you want everything nice and flat. And you're going to flip it from the center. Now, I can see in these pants, typically I would mark it, but I can see in these particular pants where the center is because I still have some of the thread from where the belt loop was. So I know that this is the center mark. All right. So you're going to flip this in half just like this, right at the center. And you want all your lines to match. So your white going to match with your white and your blue is going to match with your blue. Okay. And you're going to flip this over in half just like this. And when you flip it over, Make sure everything is still matching. Okay, and you're gonna pin them. You're gonna pin it here, pin it at top, and pin it at the bottom. So I put a pin in the white and I put a pin in the blue. Now this is a perfect example. Now let me show you guys something that's happening right now. Now if I went and I tried to stitch this like this, I'm gonna have a hard time getting a really nice clean stitch. Why? Because if you can see here, this waistband is still kind of connected to the pocket. Y'all see these stitches in here? It's connected into the pocket, so it's kind of giving me resistance. So what you want to do, if that happens to you, just open it up some more. Just open it up some more, release it from the pocket. Okay? So open it up just a little bit more on this side, and open it up just a little bit more on the other side. All right? Now, that will give you a nice flat 2 inches. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to measure. So we know that we're taking, again, 2 inches out of the waist. So we're going to measure at this point 1 inch, because it's going to be 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on the other side. So I'm going to mark my 1 inch line. All right, all the way through. Okay, and then we're gonna sew that. Look at my pin trying to come out. All right, now make sure that the waistband is completely open. Completely open. Even this part that is naturally flipping, and make sure that's open. Okay, and then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna stitch your 1 inch mark. Make sure you guys can see. All right, you're gonna stitch your 1 inch mark. All the way through. Okay, and then what I do is I go back. Once I've stitched it closed, I make sure that my seams have lined up. You guys see that? See how clean that lined up like that? That's what you want. You want it to be even, and you want it to line up nice and even, nice and clean. Okay? So the next thing you want to do is you want to clean up your stitches, of course. And now what I do is I cut this right open. All right. Now here's where I like to make a decision. Because these pants have no additional seam allowance left inside, there really is no reason for me to keep this much of a seam allowance on the inside of the waistband, only because you can't do anything else with these pants, right? There's no additional seam allowance in here. So if he wanted to let these pants out at some more at the most, he's going to be able to let these pants out maybe half an inch. Yeah, maybe a half an inch. So at the most that I want to leave in the waistband is going to be about a half an inch. You know what I'm saying? Because if for whatever reason he wants to let out that little bit, you'll have that allowance in the waistband. right? So remember, but that's on these particular pants. Usually on men's slack, they leave allowance on the inside, and you want to make sure you have the same amount of allowance in the waistband, so that if the client has to go back and open the pants up, or if the client has to go back and let the pants in, you want to make sure that the allowance in the waistband matches the allowance in the actual pant itself. Okay, but because these really don't have anything, I'm gonna leave a little bit. We'll leave a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut some excess out, and I'm gonna leave about a 1/2 inch, like I said, of an allowance. Okay, just like that. All right. So next, let's see how these pants were stitched in. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I am going to now match my new waistband seam with my pant seam. Okay, so we're gonna match the waistband seam with the pant seam. And what I do is I'm just gonna put like just a little stitch to kind of hold it into place right here. Just put a little stitch right in there to kind of hold it in place. Okay, and that just kind of keeps it together for me. All right, now next thing I'm gonna do. Oh, actually, no, y'all. Wait a minute. No, wait, y'all. See, me and this belt loop. I done forgot to put my belt loop back on. Y'all, hold on, hold on. Undo that. Let me get my belt loop. Why y'all ain't remind me? Just kidding. Um, this belt loop was attached to the actual pants, so I got to put the belt loop back on like this first. So let's go ahead and attach the belt loop back first. Okay. So I attached the belt loop back on there first. All right. Now I'll go ahead and hold the waistband and the pant together with the little basting stitch. Just like this. Okay, family. So now you can see that that's coming together. All right, you see? So it's kind of just holding it in place for me. Can you see? Yeah. You guys see that? It's just kind of holding it in place for me right there. All right? So the next thing we're going to do is we want to put our tags back. Okay, so I got my tag, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch my tag back onto the pant. You can see this tag was about right there. So we're going to stitch our tag back onto the pant. Okay, just like that. And then we have our other tag. Let's put our other tag back on. Right, this tag was right there. You know, you kind of want to center it, get it nice and centered, and do it up real good, do it up real good, do it up real good. So I'm gonna put a pin in this one because I'm trying to move all over the place and I want it to be nice and even. So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this back on. Just like this. And if you have any questions while I'm doing this, please feel free to ask. Ask away. Ask away. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stitch our tag back on. And y'all, sometimes I be forgetting to like put the tag back on. And I be so mad because I would have got all the way, and then I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to put the tag back on, y'all. So, you know, I go back and I have to undo the waistband just so I can put the tag back on sometimes. I've done it. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Okay. But you know what? It's the little things, y'all. It's the little things. It's the little things that make the difference. All right. So we got the tags back. Okay. So we got our tags back on. The pants are coming together real good. Right. So now these pants were actually just top stitched, if you can see here, in the waistband. These pants, let me know if you can see, these pants were actually just top stitched down. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to top stitch it back down. Now the underside of this is white, so I'm going to change my bobbin to white thread so that it matches and looks exactly the same. So I'm going to change my bobbin from the blue to white. Okay. So my top thread gonna be blue and my bottom thread's gonna be white. Right. Okay. So here's the trick now. Make sure that your belt loop is out of the way when you go to top stitch the pants back down, because you don't want to stitch your waistband. So I'm just gonna pin it. I'm gonna fold it back onto itself and I'm just gonna pin it. If it wanna pin, I mean, come on now. All right, so then that would just make sure for me that my belt loop is out of my way. Okay, and then what we gonna do is we're gonna make sure that our inside of the waistband is flat. So we're gonna fold it back down on itself, and then we're gonna top stitch these pants back closed. Okay, but make sure that it's laying flat, just like that. And I'm gonna catch it from where I ended last time. Make sure you guys can see. Catch it from where it ended last time. Get that in there. Wait, let me open this up. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay. Make sure it's flat underneath. Everything is laying nice and flat. And we're gonna top stitch it, y'all. Right back on. Okay, just like that. Just like that, just like that. All right, family. So you can see on the inside, I think it was probably from about like right here, all the way. It's white and it looks just like when the pant was first done. You see that? And then on the actual side of the garment, we got to get rid of these other stitches, but just like that. And it sits real nice and clean, just like that. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and clean up our stitches, make sure everything is nice and neat. All right, nice and neat, just like that. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I am going to take off my belt loop. Thank you guys, thank you. And this particular belt loop, as you can see here, these belt loops are attached to the actual pants. So let's do that. We're going to stitch right here, back down, just like this. Oh wait, no, hold on. I gotta go back to blue. Let me get my blue. Got my blue bobbin back. Hey, that rhymed, y'all. Got my blue bobbin back. That didn't rhyme. Blue bobbin back. That did not rhyme, Tissa. All right, y'all. So now I'm going to stitch this part down. But look, see how my tag is in the way? So you want to make sure, move that tag up. Okay, move the tag up so you're not stitching the tag to the pant. Okay, and then we're going to stitch the belt loop down. Just like this. Okay, you guys can see, let's stitch that down. Now you want to give it a couple stitches, make sure that thing holds real good. Make sure it holds real good. All right, so we're going to clip our stitches there. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do, and the last thing, is we're going to stitch our belt loop right back up to the top. Okay. We're going to stitch that baby right back up to the top. Wait, hold on. My thread came out. Come on now. All right. We're going to stitch the right back to the top right here. We're going to line it up to match it on the seam. Okay. We're going to clip that. Going to clean up some of these threads over here. All right, family. And then we stitch our belt loop right back on there. You see? All right. And guess what? Did you follow old stitching lines, or I guess the folds in the belt loop was where you knew where to stitch down? Yes, the folds in the belt loop told me where to stitch. So in this particular one, I could see that it had the fold right then and there, and because it was folded down perfectly, I knew that's exactly where I had to stitch back. Yeah, so the folds told me where to stitch. Okay, and then as you can see, we have just taken in the waist. Let me set y'all up. All right, so I can see y'all. Sorry. Okay, so now as you can see, we have just taken in the waist on these pants 2 inches. Okay, just like that. And it looks like the pants were never touched. Just like that. And you want to make sure, you're welcome, the inside looks just as clean as the outside. Do you press the pant as part of your service? Yes, I do. I do press the pants as a part of my service, and the reason why I do that is because it gives it that professional look. I'm all about being professional, and I'm all about standing out, and I'm all about being different, right? And so I know that just doing this this basic alteration, yes, it is a basic alteration, but adding the pressing gives it an immaculate finish. Okay, so yes, I do that, right? Especially when I'm dealing with pants, because you won't believe the difference in what pressing can do to a garment. All right, so we have just taken in the waist on these pants, and as you can see, the top stitching on the seat is absolutely beautiful. The stitching looks great inside and out. But guess what, y'all? Y'all want to know what the true test is? Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yes, please do practice, 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 practice. And make sure you tag me. Tag me, because I want to see. But listen, y'all want to know what the true test is? You want to know what the true test is? Do they fit? After we done did all that work, do the pants fit? That's what we need to know. So let me get my model back into these pants and let's see. All right, sir. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. You done did all this work. You done got it looking all nice and perfect. And you know you got your stitching this and your stitching that. Do they fit? Yeah. So let's see how well we did. But when you're taking in pants, it can be just that simple. It can be just that simple. Now you can make it hard if you want to, right? But please don't make it hard. It can be just that simple, right? And depending on the type of, let me put it this way, depending on the manufacturer, depending on how they manufacture the pant. Now, typically though, most manufacturers do the same thing when it comes to menswear. It'll be your standard, like those particular slacks, nice and standard, really no seam inside. Or you'll have the type of menswear, like I said, more of the dress slacks. They have the extra seam allowance on the inside. So it really just depends, but the principle is the same. The principle is exactly the same, and that's what you want to follow. All right, so he has the pants on, y'all. Let's see. Come on over, sir. All right, family. Let's see if they fit. Look, y'all. Look how they sit on his waist now. Perfectly. No gapping. He has a good fit. Excellent, excellent, excellent. It looks good in the seat, as you guys can see here, from where we took it down at this point right here, and real clean on his waist. So if he wants to wear a belt, he can. If he doesn't have to. However he wants to do it. But we have a nice, clean, and great fit on these men's pants. All right. Thank you, sir, for being my model. Okay, family. And it was just like that. So please, if you guys are doing that, so did that help anybody? Let me know. Y'all let a sister know. Did that help you in the comments? I really hope that helped. I really wanted to show you guys how I take in the waist on a pair of men's slacks. Um, to see that really and truly you can do the exact same thing. Okay, good. Yes, it did. Good. That's all I want to know. I want to make sure that it helped and you can see exactly what I'm doing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So that was how I take in the waist on a pair of men's pants. Next Thursday, what I'm going to do is we are going to taper it. So we're gonna on these same pair of pants because he doesn't like the way the bagging it. Oh, Derek, you still got them on? I can put them back on. Yeah, really quick. I want to show you guys something. What we're gonna be doing next week. Next week, what we're gonna do is we're going to focus on how to taper the pants in. But I want to show you guys now like what the pants look like so that you can see what we're going to be doing and what you can look forward for next week. Next week live we're going to be taking in the leg, making them a little bit slimmer, because you know these dudes these days, most men, that's all they wearing. They want their pants slim, slim, slim. And so, you know what, guys? Honestly, like that's what I do a lot of. I do a lot of tapers because a lot of men, they want their pants slim. Slim is what's in right now. So let me just show you guys. Hold on really quickly here. Before I let y'all go, we're going to flip this around really quickly. Okay. So as you can see, right, there you go. As you can see in these pants, you see how wide they are? He doesn't like them like that. All that extra fabric on there. He's like, nah, not quite. We ain't doing these old man pants. He's an old man, but he said he don't want to wear no old man pants. All right, y'all. So next week, okay, thank you. That's good. Yes, yeah, thank you. All right, family. So next week, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on showing you guys what I do when I taper the pants down. And so basically in these next few lives, I really want to show you how to get a pair of men's slacks when they want them, when they looks like, you know, really big for them, and how to get them to fit and taper and really complement their body, you know, to get it to the way they like it. So next week we're gonna focus on tapers. We're gonna taper the pants live, y'all, right here on live. All right, so I'm so glad that you guys joined me. That was our first live for 2022. I'm so excited. Yeah, let me tell y'all something. I be like so hyped. I be so ready to get on here and show y'all what I'm doing. I swear it's like it's been in me for so long. But not only that, so many people been asking me. And so I'm like, you know what? It's time. Put it out there. It's time. So I'd be so excited to get on here with y'all. I hope y'all be excited too. But I'd be really excited to get it out. So I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you learned. I'm glad it was helpful. Like I said, those of you who are practicing, please tag me. I would love to see your work. I would love to see your work. And if you guys don't have any other questions, I will be here, God willing, next Thursday, 6:30 p.m., same time, same place, Eastern Standard Time. And don't meet me here, y'all. Beat me here. All right. Do you record? Yes, I'm going to save this live and I will have it on IG. But also, before I go, I wanted to let you guys know. Oh, thank you. Awesome. I'm so glad you like it. I also have a Facebook group. My Facebook group is called Stitch and Wear. I created a Facebook group, really a community. I just started it, really started it actively, I should say, on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, so that we can kind of have a place to kind of gather together. So if you have any questions or concerns or just want to see, head over to the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. You have to answer a few questions and I'll accept you, put you into the group. And that way that we can talk about this stuff too, not just here on Thursday. If you have, whenever you got a question in real time, pop it in there and then we can also stay in touch that way. All right. So the Facebook group is called Stitch and Wear Academy, and I'll also post it in the stories. So if you look through the stories, you'll see the link, and then you can just click the link and join the group. Join the group, y'all. Join the group. All right, y'all. So I don't want to keep you out no more. I don't want to hold you up no much longer. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Like I said, hey, on the replay, those of you who are watching the replay, was good. Make sure you send me a comment. Let me know if this has helped you. I really appreciate y'all. And I will see. Thank you so much. You be safe as well. And I will see you all next Thursday. Deuces.